Hey, I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing great, thanks.
Fantastic. Who is behind the Aegir
It's
account
it's
today?
yeah, it's Victor today.
All right, cool. Good to see you again, Victor.
Yeah, you too.
Fantastic. Alrighty, let's just give it a minute until everybody starts joining, and then we'll get started. Hey, PJ. It is going well. How are you, my friend?
Pretty good. Hey, Jim. How's it going?
Awesome.
Jim couldn't make it today. It's Victor.
Oh, hey, Victor. How's it going?
Going well, thank you.
Hi, PJ. I gotta ask you the default question. Where in the world are you today? Are you in Americas, in Europe, or are you?
No, I'm in the US. I'm currently in California. Um, yeah, some Euro trip, and yeah, glad to be back. It's actually exciting times for gaming in on the West Coast. I don't know if it was, but A16Z just launched a year in a day. It's always been kind of like the mecca for gaming, but like we're seeing also like web-free gaming floating. So definitely exciting times.
That is fantastic. Good to hear. So I'm very happy that you are joining us today. So thank you very much for your presence, man. So ready for some cool gaming slash DeFi chat before your lunch.
Right on, absolutely. And thanks for setting this up, Fred. I mean, it goes without saying that you're amazing. So I just want to reinforce the message.
Thanks, Vijay. Truly appreciate the words. All right, we're gonna get started in a second. It seems like the Alammex folks and Aegir are all online. Just quick question to Victor and Phil: is anybody else from your teams joining, or are we good to go?
We're good to go here.
Yep, I'm good to go on my end as well.
Fantastic. Thank you, guys. Alrighty, so we get started. I believe this is the third weekly Twitter Spaces we're doing with the Algorithm Miami Accelerator startups. So the way it's going to go is I'm just going to give a very quick introduction, some general remarks, and then we'll dive right into the fun stuff, which is asking you guys a bunch of questions. All right. So first of all, thank you very much for everyone that's already live listening to us right now. And of course, to everyone's going to catch the recording later. I am Fred Asante from the Algorithm Foundation, and I am joined today by SciSec, which is my fellow Reddit moderator and also a digital community champion right here with us at the Algorithm Foundation. And I also want to give a very warm welcome to PG. PG, for those of you who don't know, is the head of gaming at the Algorithm Foundation and has very kindly agreed to join us in this conversation today to ask questions to Aegir Tactics and also Alammex. I have a slight feeling that PG's questions are gonna be a little bit gaming biased, but we'll see what has up his sleeve today. But PG, thank you very much. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here with us today to ask these guys a few questions. And of course, we're all here today because of the Algorithm Miami Accelerator. And for those of you who don't know, the Algorithm Miami Accelerator has been a very important partner to us here in the entire Algorithm ecosystem. They are based clearly out of Miami, and they're currently running the second cohort of startups they're accelerating in the Algorithm ecosystem. So the first cohort ran last year. Right now, they're running the second cohort with another 10 startups. We have interviewed already 4 startups, and today we are joined by another 2 startups, which are Alammex and Aegir Tactics. And just very quick reminders before we get started. This will be a very simple conversation in terms of structure. This Twitter space is going to be recorded and is going to be available, for the people to catch later for the next 30 days. And then the structure is also very simple in the sense that I'm going to start by just giving a very brief introduction of each project and team here today. Then PG, SciSec, and myself will take turns asking questions to each project. And then we're, of course, going to open the floor for the community to come live and ask, any questions they might want. Okay, so very simple, very straightforward. So I begin with a very quick round of quick introductions of the teams. So going by alphabetical order, I'll start with Aegir Tactics. So Aegir is a digital card game which aims to improve access to fair play for new users. The game has been designed by top tournament players and coaches and includes features built on the Algorand blockchain. Yay! With a streamlined card collection process, NFT game assets, and rewards for consistent play, new users can jump right into competitive gameplay and build collections of limited edition NFTs. And representing the Aegir Tactics team here today, we have Victor. Victor is the CEO and co-founder of Starside Labs, where he focuses on development of the Aegir game. He has a background in finance and professional gaming with placements in several national and world championships. Victor believes that for gaming to evolve further, we must build immutable game assets with robust game economies and player governance. Moving on to the Alammex team. Alammex creates solutions for defragmenting liquidity across the Algorand ecosystem, which is becoming a major problem for trading ASAs. There are many options available for providing liquidity for ASAs trades. Right now, there are 4 automated market maker exchanges, Tinyman, Pact, AlgoFi, Humble, and 1 major order book exchange, which is AlgoDex. The fragmentation of liquidity across these exchanges results in higher prices for traders on any single exchange. Alammex offers trading solutions that have access to unified liquidity across all Algorand exchanges, resulting in better pricing for traders. And representing the Alammex team here today, we have Phil. Phil is the founder and is also a software engineer with 7 years of industry experience. He started his career at Graphic, a tech startup that developed vertical search engines, which was acquired a year later by Amazon Alexa to improve question answering capabilities around a year after he joined. He then spent the next 5 years of his career at Amazon delivering some large improvements to Alexa's question answering capabilities. Phil, by the way, thank you very much for that. I use it on a daily basis. And then last November, he left his Amazon job to join a health tech startup that some of his former Amazon managers founded. During his tenure there, he started becoming very interested in crypto, especially in the Algorand blockchain because of its technical efficiency. He quickly realized that he wanted to pursue, a blockchain project full time. He then left Guava to develop a fully collateralized call and put option protocol, which he recently sold to Headline Inc. In May of 2022, and is now currently working full time on Alammex, the DEX aggregator. So to begin with, before we jump into the questions, I just want to give both Phil and Victor, couple minutes for you guys to give your own pitches about the projects that you're building. So maybe you can take like 3 to 4 minutes just to give a general overview to the audience that's either listening to us live right now or going to check the recording later, and then we'll jump right into questions. So Victor, can you get started with your pitch?
Oh yeah, and thank you for the introduction. We're developing Aegir Tactics, and the problem that we're trying to solve is that gaming has generally shifted towards high accessibility games with monetization geared towards cosmetics and things like that. Card gaming has remained really expensive, and it's hindered the competitive scene. So we have a lot of former competitors who are collaborating with us on trying to create a game that is more accessible to the new user, so that we can see more competitions, more global competition specifically, and that we can also provide some of the features that are lacking in other card games. One of the big ones is ownership of assets. In most digital card games, people don't actually own the cards they play. It's more of like a licensing that you're allowed to have, and you can't trade it or sell it. And so that's the main motivation behind building the assets on Algorand, so that they are immutable, they can be traded and sold, and ultimately there will be a marketplace where people can go and pick up the assets that they want specifically. And then the other thing that's really important to us down the line is governance. A lot of the headlines today in gaming has to do with developers that aren't really focused on the players. They're more focused on investors. So it's really important for us to be able to align the players' interests with the developer and make sure that we as the developer are accountable to the governance system we're implementing, so that players will have greater influence in the ecosystem over time.
Fantastic. Love it. Thank you very much, Victor. Phil, take it away, my friend.
All right. Yeah, so just to start off, thanks everybody for being here, and thanks Fred for hosting this. Alammex, I'm developing a DEX aggregator for swaps on Algorand. I come from Amazon, so I always have customer obsession in mind. So I think the main benefits of using Alammex is, Alammex will always give you the best price compared to any individual single DEX. So there are some competitors out there like DFly, and Vestige is also developing a DEX Aegir as well. And depending on how much of those tokens you hold, those might actually be a better trading solution for you. But if you're just looking for a simple web interface where you just want to do a simple trade and don't have to purchase any crypto in order to do so, I think Alammex is a fairly good solution. So the way Alammex optimizes your trade is through splitting the trade, splitting the order through multiple DEXs. So that's the first way, and then also optimizing low liquidity trading pairs by routing through intermediate trading pairs that have higher liquidity. So the combination of those two features can result in some pretty significant gains over individual DEXs, and there's pretty much no trade-off to using Alammex.
Fantastic. Thank you, man. Truly appreciate it. All right, guys, thanks a lot for the introductions. So we're going to jump right into the questions part, which is the fun part right now. But before we get started, I just want to, give another quick reminder to the community that's listening live. Get your questions ready. Very soon, we're going to open the floor for community questions. So if you already have a question ready, you can already hit the mic request button, and then I'll bring you up to the speaker board as soon as you're ready. And then, of course, you'll be the first in line. So get your questions ready. So, all right, my first question is going to be to Victor. And this question that I'm going to ask to you is actually to make honor of one of my friends that are listening to us live right now, which is Patrick from NFT Domains. So my question to you is, when mainnet, sir? And I know that has a little asterisk to it because I know you guys already have some stuff live, but can you tell us a little bit about the roadmap, please?
Yeah, that would be great. Right now, we have an internal demo that we've showcased a little bit. We also have an alpha build that's almost complete. Our plan is to do a closed beta for the game, which is in the Unreal Engine, and that will be in Q4, fairly early. And the earning mechanisms, we're expecting to have that as part of the closed beta, so that will be on the mainnet then. But at first, the closed beta will likely be just the Unreal game, so there won't be any crypto interactions yet. But we'll have more info about that soon.
Awesome, thank you. All right, Saisak, take it away.
Hi, my next question goes to Phil. Can you tell us a little bit something about your business model? For example, as a user, what do I have to pay, for example? Is it a fixed or percentage commission? And what might be interesting for some here, you've launched a referral system a few days ago. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, for sure. So Alammex doesn't charge any fixed fees except for on the multi-hop protocol, where there's intermediate routing for cases where there's low liquidity. So if you want to swap Yieldly to USDC, for example, it might be more efficient to swap Yieldly to Algo and then Algo to USDC atomically, so that you're not left with Algo in the case where the first swap succeeds and the second one doesn't. So for that protocol, there is a 0.03% fee that's charged. But again, that's only ever charged if it's better than actually routing through any individual DEX's liquidity pool. And based on the usage that I've seen, not many people are doing ASA to ASA trades. It's mostly ASA to Algo. So other than that, the only other fee or commission that's charged is 20% of the combo gain. And the combo gain is basically the Alammex quote minus the best quote from any individual DEX. So it's a 20% fixed commission right now. I've been kind of lowering it over time as I've gotten more traffic to the website, and I hope to lower it even further in the future. But yeah, that's kind of the business model right now. So then talking about the referral program, So the idea there is I've exposed some APIs for fetching quotes and then fetching the transaction group to execute a given Alammex quote. So essentially, if you leverage this API, then you are entitled to earn 50% of any commissions that Alammex yields from the combo gain. So I have a couple interested business partners there. One is Upside Finance. They're going to leverage the Alammex APIs for essentially converting half of an input asset to another asset when providing liquidity, when doing kind of like a zap. And then there's a couple other parties that are interested in using it, but I haven't actually confirmed any sort of details on those partnerships yet.
Awesome, thank you. All right, PG, your turn.
All right. I want to kind of ask the story question to Victor, because like when we initially started talking, when we were making decision about grants to Aegir, what struck me was the origin story and especially the pain points that he experienced as a gamer, and actually as a very successful one. I remember you telling me a tale about like your Hearthstone tour in Japan. So I love to tell the community about that, and also like because I guess that's what brought you to develop Aegir in the business, and I think it's pretty, as we see the play tournament, people just launching game because it's trendy and it makes money. I think it's always great to hear like a founder that comes from struggle and pain and wants to release a solution that can improve that problem. So Victor, if you can tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, that would be great. So yeah, I think my biggest tournament was probably in 2015 when I played at BlizzCon, which is a convention and from Blizzard Entertainment where they do a world championship for all their biggest games. And that was really the big time for digital card games. It was really the number one genre by a bunch of metrics. It was the most viewed game on Twitch, and it was very popular. And the ecosystem was really thriving with lots of content creators and streamers. The prize pools kept going up, and people were particularly excited about me being there because I was always really my background. I had a day job, and so that I wasn't a full-time gamer with a team, and I was really just someone who played it on the weekends. And so people were excited to see like an everyday guy make it that far in competition. But yeah, after 2015, what we saw was the rise of games where they made accessibility a lot easier for the new user. And Hearthstone in particular was a game where if you want to have any chance of succeeding when you first pick it up, you're probably going to have to put a few $100s into it, or just spend a really long time losing to generate the cards you need. And that was really one of the big factors that a lot of people describe when they talk about what happened to digital card gaming. Why is it not number one anymore? And so that was really the initial motivation for how do we solve that problem and bring back the people that were really into digital card gaming and give them better access to the game and generally have a more competitive environment.
Nice. I remember also another thing that you mentioned, that you told me, was like that you won a tournament in Japan and you never paid, because of course you had to leave the country and there was no like direct way of paying.
That was actually a friend of. Yeah, that was actually a friend of mine. He went overseas for a tournament, and yeah, they never paid him. He never heard about it again. So that's another part of the system that we're looking to create, is to have the competition be a little more decentralized, so it's much more transparent with the rewards and who gets invited and That's probably going to be a further down the road feature, but it's still something that we think is going to be really important for the product.
Awesome. Love it. Thank you very much. Alrighty. So next question that I got for is Phil. Hope you're ready. All right, Phil, I love your product. I genuinely do. I've used it several times over the last couple of weeks. But this is a space with live competition, just as you mentioned on your own introduction, and there's more competition coming. Can you differentiate Alammex to the other aggregator solutions and how you think you're going to win this race or at least be the top contender in this race?
Yeah, so I mean, one differentiator right now is, I guess, the model that DeFi and Vestige have is the amount of token that you hold in your wallet kind of impacts the amount of combo gain that you retain after doing a swap. Whereas with Alammex, there's kind of a fixed amount that's fairly low, regardless of how much you're swapping. I don't know if that's a sustainable model, but it's so far it's been getting decent traction. And maybe in the future there will be an option to pay, say, like a fixed amount of algo and get infinite or 100% of the combo gain every time. I haven't really thought too much about that at this point. And being the number one contender isn't too important to me. In fact, I'm actively working with DeFi on another protocol. I can't disclose too much about that right now, but
you can. We're a close family. You can say whatever you want. I promise it's going to be a secret.
Yeah, I know it's. I just want to make sure I'm respecting DeFi in terms of what they want to disclose, because we haven't really talked too much about messaging around our protocol. But I think the general idea there is that I'm kind of hedging my bets. The protocol that we're developing, that could turn out to be very big. The API route also could be the main source of revenue for me in the future if there's plenty of other Algorand businesses that need to do optimized swapping. So the market swapping capability right now is kind of a short-term solution that does provide value to the ecosystem, but as far as long-term business decisions go, it may or may not be the primary product that Alammex delivers.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it.
My next question goes to Aegir. Can you give us a rough outline of the future gameplay and the quest system? And is there a game that I can orientate myself on? For example, Hearthstone or Yu-Gi-Oh, for example.
Yeah, so a lot of our team in the design has a background in Hearthstone, so I would say that that's probably the closest game to the mechanics we're creating. And the idea is that we're generally going through the mechanics from not just Hearthstone but other games like Legends of Runeterra, Magic the Gathering, and Yu-Gi-Oh, and trying to figure out what mechanics really worked and which ones caused problems and which ones we should avoid. And so I would definitely say that Hearthstone is probably the best bet. And a bit about the design of the game is a lot of card games have a large pool of cards which you have to collect in random packs and then build a deck, and then usually have to research to figure out which deck you want to build, and it can be very challenging at first. So our system is to streamline it all into a system where you just have to pick one character and get a customizable deck, which you can then compete with against other characters that the deck has been balanced against.
Love it. Thank you very much. PG, take it away.
Gosh, I guess, Victor, just to respond again, Using Lmx roadmap. it'd be great if you can dive a little bit deep into it and just explain the community what your plans are.
I think you. Sorry, I'm having some mic issues. I think you cut out a bit there, but I think the question was about the tokenomics.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so the way we're designing the tokenomics is to have a protocol-owned liquidity, and we'll have a treasury. We're going to collect all game revenue, and game revenue in our token, which is Aegir, will be collected and held for governance, and revenue in non-Aegir will be then zapped into Aegir to USDC liquidity tokens, where they'll just be held indefinitely to support the liquidity of Aegir. And the idea is that over time, once users have acquired enough Aegir and governance has been implemented, that they'll have more of a say in how much is getting distributed for development. Do they want to develop additional things? Do they want to peel back? Do they want to do more rewards? And a bit about the reward system. We have a 2-token system for rewards where when people collect game assets, it'll give them a certain amount of token 1 each day for playing the game. And so if they play the game consistently with as many assets as they can, they'll earn more of that token, which at the end of each week will then be clawed back, and they will get Aegir, which will have clawback and freeze off, so that and that is the game token, which comes with governance of the protocol-owned treasury and can also be used as an in-game currency.
Amazing. Just a quick follow-up about that, especially with governance. Do you envision also governance through NFTs or badges or and like, you know, anything but the token?
Our general plan is that the NFTs will help you earn the token, and then the token will be used for governance. But I think that there's a potential to add some NFT governance, but I think the general idea is to focus just on the token.
Awesome, thank you.
So,
all right, sorry, PJ, go ahead. Do you have a follow-up?
oh no, I was just saying sounds good.
Hi, cool. Phil, I got a question for you, my friend. I like APIs and I like SDKs. I saw that you guys already have created many APIs and SDKs to allow users to connect their own bots or at least automate their own operations. Can you give us a quick summary of what can already be done with the SDKs and APIs you have up and running, and what is on the roadmap for the devs out there?
Yeah, so you know, the APIs are very simple. There's one API to fetch a quote. So the interface there is, you know, you input an input asset, an output asset, an amount, and then the type. So whether it's fixed input or fixed output. So, you know, it's very similar to the interface that you have on, you know, the website. And the output is an object that contains the expected output amount, a kind of hashed object that's used to actually fetch the transaction group in the next API that I'll talk about in a little bit, and then some artifacts about the actual quote. So things like the routing, the path, the different quotes from each of the dexes. So pretty much all of the metadata that you see on the web page, you'll get from the API. And then the second API is for fetching the transaction group to execute a given Alammex quote. So you basically pass in the object that you get from the fetch quote API, and that's the input to the next API. And it also requires an address and some parameters for the AlgoD client. And the output there is just the transaction group for executing that given quote. So it's a fairly simple interface. And right now, you can only fetch quotes for atomic swaps because the APIs are intended to be as simple as possible and leave as little room as possible for developers. It's very easy to integrate, and I've actually already seen a couple developers make trades automatically through through these APIs, which is really promising and exciting to see, given that it's been out for less than a week. But in terms of the roadmap, I think one big thing that I'm going to add is the ability to return transaction groups that don't have an assigned group ID. So the idea there is, there might be a business use case where that requires composability of the actual swap transactions, and right now, the transaction group that's returned from the second API, it has a group ID assigned, so it can't be composed with other transactions. But in the future, I want to change that and basically allow it to be composed with other transactions.
Love it. Thank you for that. Looking forward to the upcoming upgrades to the SDKs. Appreciate it. Sisek?
Back to Aegir. Can you say something about how much gameplay will actually be on chain, and where you also meet limits there?
That's actually something we wanted to address. So the actual logic of the game, we don't have plans for that to be on blockchain. And part of the reason for that is that we don't just want this game to be focused on crypto proficient users. We also want to market this towards people who aren't familiar with blockchain, and they're just card game players. And so what we're building is an API where people will still be able to purchase these assets using an onboard to convert the USD to USDC. And then we will create wallets for them, which will contain the game assets they collect, so that they'll be able to essentially do all the same things, but just inside the game without having to actually create a wallet themselves. So all of the game logic is going to be in Unreal, and all of the blockchain stuff will be handled either through our API or through wallets that users link to their account.
Awesome. Thank you. PG?
I want to ask a general question to both of you guys as builders on Algorand. It'd be great to get your honest opinion, feedback, lessons learned, and also suggestions overall on how the process has been, your developing experience, and also being Fred and I on foundation side. We want to listen to you and hear you. So any suggestions on things that we can improve. And now, having John Woods as CTO is great, because we're definitely gonna make a developer experience easier. But I'd love to hear more about your journey.
Do you want to go first, Phil?
No, you can go for it.
Okay. I wish Jim was here to answer that, because I think Jim is the one that really interacts a lot with Algorand, where I'm on more of the game design side and the Unreal development, whereas Jim handles the the blockchain and has been a really big fan of Algorand's from the beginning. But yeah, I think that for me, I think that the next steps in Algorand and just blockchain in general is going to be apps that actually create value outside of blockchain. I think people are going to really want to see some use cases that that improve things for people outside of the crypto space. And so I'm really interested to see what comes next and what the types of projects that really succeed in this new market. But yeah, I'll have to have Jim send over some more feedback as far as the actual tech of Algorand.
I've had an amazing experience developing on Algorand. So I left my job in February, and it was the first time since college that I was technically unemployed. So it was a little bit scary, but I was able to, quickly gain confidence that I'd be able to develop something big on Algorand. And that's thanks to the amazing resources out there for developers. Like I was able to come up with a, fully collateralized call and put option protocol in less than a week and have something, that was testable. So I think that's a testament to the way that, the Algorand consensus protocol is built and the way that developers have contributed to docs and information sharing. And then on the financing side, they've been very generous. I got a developer grant in earlier this year, which has helped keep me afloat. And the community is also awesome. So I'm not super confident that I would have been able to be in the position that I'm at if I had chosen to build on any other blockchain. So great job, and kudos to everybody, everyone on the foundation.
Thanks for the kind word, guys. And I'm a little biased to say that I love our community as well, but I I may be a little biased for that.
I think one thing I would add is that the collaboration between the games on Algorand has been really interesting to us, because we weren't expecting so many collaborations or people looking to work together on marketing. So that's been pretty exciting, and probably the number one thing that we really weren't expecting when we first came to Algorand.
Love it. Fantastic. Alrighty, I got a follow-up question to you, Victor. Is that you guys have implemented a non-interactive turn system for the game, right? Can you explain the reasoning behind it?
Yeah, so I mean, like I said before, we are mostly Hearthstone gamers, and our experience with the other games has mostly been that the interactive turns tend to really slow down the game a lot. And to us, that there's a number of balance concerns there, but I think the number one thing is we want to be able to regulate the speed of the game a little more and make sure that there aren't matches that go too long. I know I've once or at various times in my career had to play through like 40-minute matches when generally the average time is supposed to be closer to 10. And nobody likes having to stay till 3 in the morning at a tournament because every match is 40 minutes long.
Absolutely, thank you. And I do have a quick follow-up question to that, in the sense that do you guys envision, because you have done the sales of the NFT, like the NFT cards before, right? Moving
Yeah.
forward, are you thinking of creating some sort of booster packs with like randomized cards, or are you always going to be able to know what you're getting, what you're buying? And following up on the follow-up question, are you guys planning on creating like a secondary marketplace?
Yeah, so regarding the card packs, yes, that's a system that we're looking to launch fairly soon once we finalize the date for the early access. And so in these packs, people will be able to collect the legends, which they'll need to access the game, and there'll also be premium cards and potentially some other things that you can get. The important thing being that any premium content doesn't affect the actual gameplay, but it will have benefits in terms of cosmetic collectibles and the play to earn model. And yes, we're going to do a marketplace. We will most likely do a partnership for our marketplace at first, but that is something that we do have plans to develop and to add an extra revenue stream for Aegir, because the marketplace will be Aegir only, and we'll have like a small fee for people looking to pick up assets.
Love it. Thank you for sharing. Sisek, you got a question, right?
Yes, Phil, can you share some stats about the transaction volume to date, number of unique users, volume per day, and do you have an Ether until more than single order fill is supported for Algodex?
Yeah. So on the metric side, I recently added basically a note field to all the transactions made through Alammex so that I can filter through Flipside Crypto. So those changes were put in place around 2 weeks ago, and since then, I've measured, let's see, $831,000 US dollars in volume, 158 unique swappers, and 6,200 swaps done through Alammex. And if you want to get a more detailed overtime breakdown of those metrics, you can go to my homepage, alammex.com, and there's an analytics button on the top that brings you to the Flipside crypto dashboard. So that's kind of where I'm at on metrics, and I'm seeing pretty promising growth day over day and week over week. So very excited about the progress there. So as far as your question about the AlgoDex integration, I haven't spent too much time thinking about the multi-order fills, just because the single order is already providing a decent amount of value to the ecosystem, and there hasn't been much demand for it. In fact, you're the first person to bring it up. Not to say that it's not worth building out, but there's a lot of other things on my roadmap right now. There's the FXDX integration, which is probably higher priority, just because lots of people have been bringing that up, given the large amount of USDC algo liquidity that they have. But there is a backlog that I intend on getting to, and that feature is on the backlog. So I can't provide any sort of explicit date at the moment, but I would hope that it'll be done before the end of the year.
Phil, those are very impressive numbers. If I can just ask a very quick follow-up on your response before passing along to PG again, do you know roughly how many ASAs have been traded to the Alammex platform so far?
That data can be retrieved. I haven't built out the dashboard for it, but I would estimate on the order of maybe like 30 to 50 unique ASAs.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you. I'll do some digging on the analytics page afterwards as well. And I want to pass the word back to PG. However, I just want to make a very quick announcement / reminder for the community that are listening to us live right now. If you have any questions to ask either Phil or Victor about their projects, just hit the mic request button right now. It's going to be a pleasure to bring you to the speaker board, and also so they can take some questions live from the community. So please hit the mic request button right now. And PG, back at you.
Amazing. Thanks, Fred. Back to Victor. I mean, a big part of Aegir, a big component is the art, is the design, which is, in my opinion, amazing. It's just staggering. Can you tell us a little bit more about that as like your choice of like going big on that side? And also, do you think that sets you apart from other projects, similar projects across other chains specifically? Because there's several other games like digital collectible cards out there, but they don't look as much quality as Aegir, at least on the art side. So if you can tell us a little bit more about that, that'd be great.
I mean, illustration has been our number one priority as far as giving the game a AAA feel. So our plan from the beginning was we'll find the best artists we can, and then we'll build all the other visuals around that. And we've been working with a German art studio called the Cross Collective for about a year now, and we set up a deal with them, and they're going to continue doing the art for everything, at least leading up to the early access. And yeah, it's really exciting working with them. I think that their work is as good as it gets in terms of digital art, and yeah, it's going to be a big part of the game. It always is, just making sure that we're constantly innovating what we can do in terms of the visuals.
And if I can remember correctly, Victor, like that studio works with super as well, so they know how to go big.
Yeah, yeah. I think they've worked with Supercell and I think they did some work on Dota 2. They have some pretty big clients.
Awesome, thank you. All right, Guy. Oh, sorry, PG. Go ahead. You have a follow up.
Oh, no.
All right, cool. Well, community, if you have any questions, just hit the mic request button, alrighty? These guys would love to take any questions for you. But in the meantime, I had a question to Phil. And Phil, do you have any thoughts or plans or ideas or opinions on aggregating cross-chain liquidity?
Yeah, I mean, I think that will be a huge step. Once bridges are in place, that's going to be, the obvious thing to build. And I think that's where Algorand could play, a huge role, because of its technical efficiency. Bigger assets from other chains could more efficiently be swapped through Algorand. And if you can do that atomically, that's huge, because it would bring, a ton of value to the ecosystem. So I think that's probably the biggest thing that could be built out in the space. And with wormhole coming and other bridging capabilities, I really hope that I can contribute in some way.
Fantastic. And are you more bullish on, let's say, waiting for a wormhole to come in, which is happening in very few days, or more of state proofs? And which one would you build on if whenever you have to choose?
To be completely honest, I haven't spent too much time digging around, the bridging solutions that are coming to Algorand, just because there's been many other higher priority short-term things that I've had to iron out. But I think it will be a high priority. Like doing the research will be a high priority in the coming weeks. So I'll have an answer for you, hopefully by the end of September.
Sounds good, I guess. I'm just going to have to host you again, huh? Cool.
Perfect.
All righty. And PG, do you have any questions to any of the guys, or can I ask another question? Your call.
Go for it, Fred.
All right, cool. So I got a question for Victor now. Victor, you mentioned earlier on that you're working with the Unreal Engine, right? How has been the experience integrating with Augering?
That's been really interesting so far. Right now, and I wish Jim was here to answer that question because I'm just going by what he says because he's the lead engineer on the project. Um, Unreal has been really interesting because when we first started, a lot of people were saying, you should be in Unity. It's going to save you a lot of time. And then over time, people have gotten more and more positive about Unreal to the point where now everyone's coming to us and saying, it's really exciting to see a card game that can actually take advantage of Unreal because it just seems like the better choice now. And they actually have a really good system for integrating with Algorand. The Epic Games, they have a number of packages that Jim is implementing that they're saving us a lot of time, such as like their anti-cheat um, uh, uh, protocols, but also their account system is making it a lot easier for Jim to lay out this API that he's building to integrate the Aegir assets and to create wallets for users which would be looking to play the game on the Epic Game Store.
Awesome. That's amazing to hear. And if I can give a friendly suggestion, I think that would be an amazing, blog post for you guys to write one of these days. Whenever I have, some downtime, which I know is very hard, but just talk a little bit about the experience of integrating, the engine on Algorand and lessons learned and whatnot. I think this will be very beneficial to the entire gaming industry that's flourishing on Algorand.
Absolutely, I can. I'll pass that on.
Cool.
And
we can certainly have.
Just a quick thing on that side, Fred. We're currently evaluating a couple of proposals to build out a full Unreal SDK. So that down the line, and it's definitely like a top priority for us because that will enable more and more game developers to come build on Algorand.
All right, Algo fan. PG just dropped some major alpha here. I love it, PG. That's amazing news. Thanks for sharing that. I like it a lot. All right, guys, I got a quick question for both of you. Maybe Phil can start. First of all, how big is your team? You know, how many amazing builders you have working with you right now? And second, if you can just share a little bit about your experience with the Algorithm Miami Accelerator. How has it been so far? Maybe Phil, you can start.
Yeah, so the team is just me for now. I kind of took a leap and decided to, try to build something from scratch. So it's been kind of hard to convince, people in my working community to leave their jobs and join me, just because I have a limited, amount of funding at the moment. The plan is kind of just to keep it solo for now, and then if things go well and I'm able to raise funds, I'll bring on maybe a co-founder or two. But luckily I've been able to work with the folks at DFly, so I do have a sense of community and team there, and I can't say enough good things about them. They're extremely talented, and I can't say enough good things. And then regarding the Algorand Miami Accelerator, it's been an awesome experience. I come from a tech background exclusively. I do a little bit of trading on the side, so I have the fundamental ideas in my head about trading, order books, call, put options, the traditional finance stuff. But when it comes to business stuff, I pretty much have no experience there. So it's been an amazing experience to get insights from leaders in the space who have expertise in those domains. There's sessions by crypto specific lawyers, people related to fundraising, tokenomics experts. I've gained an invaluable amount of knowledge from the accelerator program, and I think that's more important than the funding that that helped me raise.
This is amazing to hear. Thank you very much for sharing, the kind words. Victor, can you share, please, how big your team is right now and what has been your experience with the Algorithm Accelerator?
Yeah, so it's me and Jim, as you know. Since getting the grant from the foundation, we've also been able to pick up two Unreal developers and a part-time front-end engineer, and then of course the art studio that we've been working with. Um, as far as the accelerator, it's been really great so far. We do have several gaps on our team, and the biggest one being a marketing gap. And it's been really helpful to meet a lot of the experts that we've made connections with through the program. There were things that we didn't even think we needed to really focus on, and yeah, just getting to attend those sessions and get advice from experts. It's been really helpful.
That is amazing to hear. And I think I'm just going to follow up on something you mentioned about the little gap that you have. So I guess probably my final question to you, well, not my final question, my second to last question to you both is, are you currently hiring? I know, of course, I understand you guys are probably in fundraising rounds as well, or not. But are you hiring? Are you planning to bring on some more people to the team soon? What are your current thoughts? Maybe Phil, you can start.
Yeah, so I'm not hiring at the moment. As I mentioned, I don't really have any funds to offer anyone, and I think offering a pure equity deal would just be unfair given the large amount of risk at this point. Hopefully, as I mentioned, I'll be able to raise a round, or if things go extremely well and the project can self-fund itself, I can bring people on that way.
Fantastic.
And yeah, on our end, we are hiring a marketer. We're looking to bring someone on to the founding team, not purely just for equity and token, but also to pay a salary as well. We're currently working out the details of this, and we're going to be going a little more public with the position. But it's really important for us to get a marketer at this stage, since we are looking to do the closed beta later this year and an early access early next year.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing. So Algo fam, start spamming Victor right now. He's looking for a good marketer. So if you are one, you know where to DM. And guys, I think I have one last question to ask each one of you. And then, well, first of all, let me take that back. I don't know, SciSec, PG, do you have any other questions you want to ask these guys before I do my closing question?
Not on my end. I love for the community to ask questions as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, PG. Community, if you want to ask these guys anything, just hit the mic request button. But in the meantime, given that we only have 4 minutes left, I do have a question for both of you. Maybe Phil can start. Is that, I mean, I love the conversation we had today. I think we asked so many questions. You guys gave a lot of great info. But is there anything that you feel that we didn't ask and we should have asked? So basically, is there anything that you want to share with the community? This is your space. So Phil, feel free to share your parting words and any other information that you think the Algo fan at large should be aware of.
No, I mean, I think you covered pretty much everything. I just want to, give a shout out again to DFly. We'll have news on what we're building there together soon. And if you haven't checked out Alammex, give it a try. And I'm very open to any feedback. So if you have any thoughts on how the product could be improved, or if you encounter any sort of bug, there's multiple ways of reaching out to me: Discord, Twitter, email, whatever. I'll respond very very quickly.
Fantastic, Phil. Thank you very much. Victor, any parting words / anything that you want to share that we should know?
I think you guys covered all the main stuff that we wanted to talk about, and we really appreciate you putting this on, and the foundation and the accelerator. Just the final words, we do have a wait list on our website right now, which you can find the link for in my profile. And signing up to the wait list will potentially get access to the closed beta, and we're also going to be doing several collaborations with some NFT projects to add some additional rewards for signing up.
Fantastic. Absolutely love it. So before we part ways today, I just want to invite the Algo fam to please give these guys a follow. Please follow right now the Aegir and the Alammex Twitter profiles, and of course their profiles in all other social media channels, so you can stay in the loop. If you're a gamer, just go to the Aegir website, get on the wait list, do all this stuff. All right, support the Algo ecosystem. With that having said, Phil and Victor, I truly want to thank you for taking the time to chat with us today. It is amazing to hear about everything you guys are building. You guys have built already so much, in such limited resources and team. So I'm absolutely amazed from what I heard today, and really much looking forward to what's going to come next as you guys grow in the ecosystem as companies. So congratulations for the work you have been doing. It's amazing. Thank you very much for taking the time. It has been an absolute pleasure. I also want to thank my fellow co-hosts, SciSec and PG, for taking the time. It's been an absolute pleasure to share the stage with you once more. It's always great to have these conversations. And I want to thank and congratulate the Algo Miami Accelerator crew. I believe Newsy is behind the profile, the Algo Miami profile here today, but I want to thank Newsy, Lorenzo, and everybody from the team, not only for their support today, but mainly for the amazing work they have been doing with the Algo Miami Accelerator since last year. We're now in the second cohort, and things have been amazing. So congratulations to you guys as well. To the Algo fam, thank you very much for turning out. This has been an amazing conversation. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I have. And if you can, help share the recording later so more and more of the Algo fam can check out this conversation and learn more about the two projects. Everyone, I hope you all have an amazing weekend, and we'll be back next week with more Twitter Spaces, more information, and that's it. Have a great weekend. Cheers.